Welcome to the 7th episode of Nordic Sports News Podcast, the world's first cross-country ski and biathlon podcast, with daily news from around the globe. Today we start with news from the cross-country ski side. In the 2021-2022 season, the team sprint will present many new features. Let's find out together the new rules of the Olympic team sprint and the novelties that will be tested in the mixed race in Falun. One in particular looks very interesting. In the Olympic season, in cross-country ski there will be some news regarding the team sprint. On the occasion of the Team Sprint World Cup in Dresden and the Olympics in Beijing, the top 4 finishers in each of the 2 semifinals plus 2 lucky losers, the best times, will reach the final with 10. The format was already tested in Oberstdorf for snow reasons. In Falun, however, on the occasion of the mixed team sprint, we will see a completely different race. First of all, there will be no semifinal. The qualification will take place as in the individual races, but the times of the 2 members of each team will be added together. However, 20 teams will be able to access the final. Each athlete will do 6 laps, for a total of 12. The big news is the eliminations. After every 2 laps, in fact, the last 2 pairs in the standings will be eliminated, therefore in the 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th and 10th laps. In this way we will have 10 teams in the last 2 laps. Another interesting novelty concerns the exchange area, as it will be similar to the roller ski team sprint, since there will be no physical contact between the athletes. Finally, each nation will be able to compete with only one team. The news is certainly interesting. Certainly the idea of qualifying with a ranking resulting from the sum of the times could be very interesting. In fact, in the team sprint, too much time passes between one semifinal and the next, too great a disadvantage for those competing in the second semifinal, as De Fabiani and Pellegrino experienced in Oberstdorf. Qualifying the first 10 pairs after the sum of the times would do more justice and affect the race less. In short, we would not be against it if it were also implemented in team sprint with 2 athletes or 2 athletes of the same sex at the start. On our second news we talk about the Swedish skier William Poromaa and his sudden return to Sweden. After only a few days of altitude training in Valsanales, Italy, the Swede William Poromaa is already leaving Italy. He has had a little sinus discomfort since his arrival, Magnus Jessen, national team coach, told Expressen. Absent from the Font Romeu camp, Pyrénées Orientales, last month, William Poromaa is having a complicated off-season as the World Cup season will now begin in less than a month in Ruka, Finland. On our third news of the day, we talk about Britta Johansson Norgren, the queen of long distances. The Swedish cross-country skier, who holds the record for victories on the ski classics circuit, is aiming for a new trophy this winter, more than 20 years after her international debut. In 2003, the Swede began her career in the World Cup in a sprint won by Bent Ascari. Very quickly, she made a place for herself in the national team and took part in her first Olympic Games in 2006, then in the Worlds in 2007. In 2009, she took the bronze medal at the World Championships on the relay race, before adorning herself with silver 2 years later, still with her teammates in Gemarsdottir, Haag and Kalla. Johansson Norgren had more than 100 starts on the circuit, without reaching the podium once, several 4th places and many places of honor, before heading, in 2014, to the long distances. A pioneer of the ski classics circuit, she then went on to win the overall, 5 consecutive times, from 2016 to 2020, while taking 21 victories, a record, and all the most beautiful classics. Last year, for what was to be her last season, Britta Johansson Norgren suffered severe frostbite on her feet in January during La Diagonella, in Switzerland. If I manage to win a race this winter, it will probably be the best for me, because after all that I have just been through, my advancing age, and more competition, it will be complicated. She confessed on Lang.say. I even feel a bit of pressure because I still need to work before the season, I'm not ready yet. A member of the Lager 157 ski team, she believes that, with her teammates, she will be able to compete with the cross-country skiers of Team Remaden. Last year we watched a lot of Korsgren, Dahl, and Larsson, but I think we can compete this winter with newcomer Hanna Falk, Thea Kroken-Murud and myself. We too will have 3 cards to play. The Swede also expects an exciting winter with increasingly close women's races. More of us will be able to win, a bit like the men, and that's good for the interests of the discipline. We will also see what Marit Bjørgen will be capable of and no doubt Therese Johaug at the end of the season, says Britta. Now we turn our heads to biathlon. Becoming a mother for the second time last June, Russian biathlete Ekaterina Yurlova, 36 years old, has returned to training. But, according to Match TV, she has yet to make a final decision on whether to keep her career. Ekaterina has not contacted us to announce its participation in the two men's selection, explains for her part, still on Match TV, Viktor Megorov, the boss of the Russian Biathlon Federation. Individual world champion in 2015 in Kontiolahti, Finland, and mass start silver medalist in 2019 in Östersund, Sweden, Ekaterina Yurlova Perkt has never yet taken part in the Olympic Games. Keeping on the biathlon side, Swedish biathlete Sebastian Samuelsson has changed his rifle paint job. Like the Italian Dorothea Wierer last spring, biathlete Sebastian Samuelsson decided to change the color of his rifle to black. Previously, his .22 long rifle was wood-colored. And to wrap up our news today, we invite you to discover the program for the Swedish and Norwegian opening biathlon races, scheduled for November 13th and 14th in Idre and Sjujon. In less than 3 weeks, the Great Biathlon Circus, a few days before the launch of the World Cup, will resume its journey. The Swedish and Norwegian opening races, organized on November 13th and 14th in Idre and Sjujon, will kick off the Olympic season. If the Norwegians will logically be on the track in Sjujon and the Swedes in Idre, the French, in training in Norway from November 4th, and the Italians, leaving for Sweden on November 1st, will also be part of the game to find the international confrontation before the start of the World Cup. Find below the program for the Swedish and Norwegian opening races in Idre and Sjujon. Saturday, November 13th. 9:15 a.m., Idre Men's Sprint. 11:15 a.m., Idre Ladies Sprint. 11:40 a.m., Sjujon Ladies Sprint. 1:45 p.m., Sjujon Men's Sprint. Sunday, November 14th. 9:30 a.m., Idre Men's Short Individual. 10:45 a.m., Sjujon Men's Mass Start B. 11:40 a.m., Idre Ladies Short Individual. 12:30 a.m., Sjujon Ladies Mass Start. 2:15 p.m., Sjujon Men's Mass Start. And that's all for today, folks. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channels on YouTube, Spotify and Instagram. Just type Nordic Sports News on these platforms and access our content. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow in the next episode. Information credits for Nordic Mag, Ski Nordic, Fondo Italia, Match TV, Expressen and Langd.